I'm a big Star Trek fan, so there was no way I was not going to be seeing the movie Please Stand By, as it's about Star Trek fans. Now, here's the weird thing about this movie. Now, it does have some heart to it. Dakota Fanning is fantastic. Toni Collette is great. The cast is all really good. It's not making fun of Star Trek fans, although there is some fun to be had with them, with Dakota Fanning being a relatively high-functioning autistic who is a hardcore Star Trek fan. The really weird thing about Please Stand By is, and whether, I'm not 100% sure if this was intentional or not, it shows that autistic people, even the high-functioning ones, kind of aren't ready for the real world. Not once, not twice, not 3 times, but 4 times in this movie. Once Dakota Fanning is on her own and she's trying to get to Paramount Studios so that she can turn her script in for a Star Trek screenwriting contest, she is completely taken advantage of by the, quote, normies out there. And that's what I found kind of weird is, was the message of this that autistic people need to have someone corralling them, that they need to have someone directing them, otherwise they're not ready for the real world? I'm not sure if that was the intended message, but with how many times and how often she gets taken advantage of while she's out in the real world after she leaves her structured environment, I felt like, I don't know if that's the right message to be sending. But that all said, I think the movie is kind of cute. It's kind of fun. You don't have to be a big Star Trek nerd, although there are references you may not get if you're not. Basically, Dakota Fanning is a high-functioning autistic who's a huge Star Trek fan. She is on the verge of becoming an adult, and she can't function on her own. Star Trek is her only link to the real world, and she looks at everything through the lens of Star Trek. She really does a great job in this. Now, like I said, as a Star Trek fan, I had to see this movie. My only real complaint, other than the whole taking advantage of autistic people thing, is sort of Patton Oswalt. Not Patton Oswalt himself. He plays a police officer in this who is also a Star Trek fan, and there's that scene in the trailer where he and Dakota Fanning are able to talk Klingon to one another when she's scared and doesn't understand what's going on. I'm just sick of Patton Oswalt being the go-to nerd. Whenever you need a nerd for something, it's Patton Oswalt. Every single time. Patton Oswalt, Patton Oswalt, Patton Oswalt. He's in everything. I'm sick of seeing the guy in everything as the token nerd. Alright? Enough with Patton Oswalt. He needs to take a break. Stop being in movies and TV for a while. He's really worn out his welcome with me. That said, Please Stand By is not a bad film at all. Some people might not like it. As someone who's not actually autistic, I don't know if this portrays autistic people in a positive or negative light, but I would be curious to hear in the comments whether autistic people think Dakota Fanning was sort of, whatever autistic facing, or if this was a relatively accurate portrayal of a high-functioning autistic who just seems to get taken advantage of at every single turn.